Hi, everyone. There's 4 chairs, but 5 of us. We need one more chair. Hi, how are you all today? Makan ready? Okay. I'm going to quickly briefly introduce the panelists. So we've got Kenneth from iPay. Derek from WOBB. Okay, it's all here. Derek from WOBB. Clement from EasyParcel. And last one is TK from BoostOrder. Is that correct? BoostOrder, okay. Sorry, because there's just so many companies, new companies. Okay, let's quickly, you know the topic, and you can also read the profiles, their profiles in the handout that you have. I think it's interesting that it's good that we jump straight to the topic of what are the emerging trends that you all need to be aware of. Before I begin the discussion, I just want to quickly show a hand. How many of you are individual e-commerce operator? How many of you? Be honest, there are cameras around. Okay, how many of you work for companies or corporations? Or you have your own enterprises? It means quite a big, sizable company. Okay, how many of you are lost? Okay, just joking. Okay, it will help the audience, it will help the panelists to tailor their comment, because I think individual kind of e-commerce and corporate kind of e-commerce is probably a bit different, right? So, okay. So, very quickly introduce myself. I've been in the industry for about 30 over years. I've seen quite a lot of things, and in my current role in MDEC, I deal with a lot of companies, local companies, so I know quite a fair bit about technology trends as well as how business model operate. Yeah? So I'm going to quickly let the panel tell you about what are the top 2 or 3 trends in their mind and also in their own experience as well. Now, feel free to ask questions later on when I open up the floor for questions, but make sure your question is targeted at the topic. And if I may suggest, please don't take the opportunity to promote your own company. I've seen in sessions whereby people stand up and talk a lot about the company, then they have not asked a question after 2 minutes. That's not right, okay? Can do? Okay, with that, I'll get Kenneth to speak about, in his mind, what are the top trends that he sees in the industry.
Okay, all right, so I'm Kenneth. I think I just came out earlier. So from iPay, I'm not going to promote much about iPay, although we are one of the biggest payment gateway company.
Bang!
Bang! All right.
Maybe it's a good company.
Yeah. So, okay, observation trends are moving about, like just now we were talking about e-commerce, but now no longer there's like, the phrase also itself, like e-commerce is like going to m-commerce, and there are a lot of other versions of commerce itself. So I think that is a key trend. What I'm trying to say is, I just talked to a friend of mine, I think his name is Billy, I think he's there, yeah. He was actually going to go on e-commerce, going to sell things online. So he's asking me about whether, he want to come out with URL, want to come out with, how do we go about having a bit of headache. But I noticed trend over time, right? It's the general way of thinking is, when you want to start an online business, you must come out with your own website, or maybe you hop onto, first you start with Lazada, then over time you want to have your own customized website, then you go about there. And then some, of course, will say about m-commerce, about mobile. But I think over time, right, we shouldn't be fixated that we need to have a website. It's just like you have a store. Things have changed so much. It's just like how US works nowadays. It's like some people are not even having a permanent job, they're having part-timer jobs and all kind of thing, Fiverr and all. So what I'm trying to say is, the vehicle of online selling differs. I notice a lot of trends that people will use different mode of as a store. If you notice nowadays, even Facebook itself, they have their own marketplace, Facebook. And then people are going towards Instagram to go and promote their products. But having said that, then how you go about making payment? Because nowadays, that's why we as a payment company, we need to adopt to change the alternative towards it, to reassure the sellers that maybe you do not need to have a website, then only you can go and sell. because they can have a link redirect, and then by doing so, you're already able to sell online already. Because the key now, I think, for business is not about having a shop, rather having the customer. And to have the customer is driving footfall. This is a very typical retail play, because it is retail, no matter how. It's online retail. Just that last time, it's like they have a shop. But still, the key question is always how to drive footfall. I think that one is a very retail phrase. Drive footfall is driving customers to your shop, driving customers to your site, or driving customers to wherever you are selling your product. And how to attract people. If you have a URL but it's flat, it's literally flat, it's not attractive. You're just doing for the sake of doing. You must well don't do. You must well just go for Instagram nowadays, facing it. And also, the reason why you want to do it also is because it depends on your customer profile. If your customer profile is the youngsters, you know the youngsters don't even see Facebook at all. Come on. You know what they do now? Every morning when they wake up, they straight away, they will straight on the video and show that where they wake up, this is how my room looks like. And then the next thing you know, when they go into school, this is how I walk, and this is my friend, so this is what they're doing. So you want to be part of the ecosystem also, right? So that makes sense. So this is one of the trend, okay? The other trend I feel that is happening is e-wallet is here to stay. E-wallet is definitely here to stay. Alternative payment is here to stay because that's where it's going towards there. There's so many other ways, modes of making payment. It's definitely falling like China, but we are moving towards there. And definitely you have to embrace that portion there because over time, but having said that, the e-wallet that's coming into place, a lot of the trends is, like now they're throwing a lot of marketing funds, but over time, I think it'll be more towards aligning with the ecosystem. Example, say like Touch and Go is launching soon. Okay, when Touch and Go launch, it makes a very big impact because it's not just about F&B. It's about the whole way of life. It's about paying your tolls, paying your car park. You know, if it aligns with everything else, then it makes sense. So I think that is also another key trend that is moving towards there, something different. So yeah.
Okay, thanks. So if I may quickly sort of summarize, I think the two key takeaway, his very good valid point, is to say that when you want to start your e-commerce business, website or your m-commerce is not the only way of doing it, which is very valid because there are many different ways of selling. And that key takeaway also is that when you want to start a business, it's not necessarily having the best looking store, whether online or offline. The main thing is to make money, right? And so it can be through Instagram and many other ways. And the second point is about your payment, the ability to collect money effectively. So very good key points. So just need to be aware. Okay, next please, Derek.
Hello. Hi. So I'm Derek from WOBB. How many people here heard of WOBB before? Our marketing team needs to work harder.
No pressure.
Yeah, they have to. We are a job portal, so basically we are an online job portal. And it basically means it's kind of like e-commerce, except we don't sell products. We sell jobs, and we sell people. Talent lah, right? That's why we connect the jobs to talent. And I'm not sure, actually, like I can't really feel out what level or what everyone is really doing in this room. So I'm just going to share a kind of a story myself, not so much of current trend. So when I first started the company about 4 years ago, I literally have zero idea how to build an internet business. So I'm from a headhunting background. So in my mind, right, it was like really easy. People talk about e-commerce, online all the time. I thought if I build a website, people will come, right? I just need to like put the jobs there and people will come. And it's does not happen at all. Nobody comes to your website. This was the first lesson I kind of learned. Like market is not just about building an online presence. The marketing part is a big thing, right? And especially if you're advertising to consumers, it can get very expensive, and you have to be really clever what channel you use to target, right? You have to be really clever. So when we first started, no one came, right? So it's a bit sad. And then, and we kind of figured out that, we push very hard into like social media. So it was Facebook in the beginning. But also on that second point about how things are going on to like Instagram, that's also very true for us. Because we target more junior Gen Y talent, and we notice we get a lot of engagement right now on Instagram. And the one on Facebook is kind of slowing down a little bit, right? Yeah, my mom's on Facebook. Well, I'm on Facebook, so that's a sign. I'm old.
Sounds so sad.
Yeah, I still use Facebook. So the channels of marketing have completely changed, in my opinion. But if you ask me to compare in terms of how we used to, so we do marketing work at the university level also, just to attract students, and also social media. And I cannot deny till today, like the online, anything that you invest online, if you do it properly, is so much more powerful and gets so much higher conversion than it would do if you actually go offline. Like we have a lot of ads on taxis, we have ads on cinemas, and yet the effect of just running a very strong Instagram campaign or Facebook campaign cannot be compared to. So that's kind of like my personal experience. And also the second part is web versus mobile. When we launched the mobile app about 3 years ago-ish, and then fast forward until today, actually not a lot of our users download the app. Most of our users actually use the website to create an account. But what I found very strange, so it's about, I think 2/3 of our users use the web. But when we started to track, right, the number of applications that come up from the web and mobile, we found that people applied to our jobs on mobile 4 times higher than the ones that use web. So that means, so I said, how come the mobile application so high even though there's so little users? And then I realized that if your platform works very well on mobile, people spend more time on it because they're sitting there having lunch, they open, they have nothing to do, waiting for their friend, they open their mobile app. Whereas if it's web, you have to sit in front of your laptop and actually be consciously saying, I want to do something. So that is also something we notice, and as a company, we're also pushing very strong into mobile right now. Okay, anyway, that's it. All right, thanks.
So, Derek, so in your case, do you have an app actually?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
Okay. So it's a very valid point. Your app must be very user-friendly and very easy to view and to use, yeah. Very valid point, because like you rightly say, every other hour people check their mobile phones, yeah. So.
That's right. Oh, my only ad, download our app. Okay.
I want to add one thing also, because iPay is launching their app soon. Quick advertising. No, but actually, honestly, one of the interesting thing I like to echo what he said is, Derek said, is because digital marketing is going to come into a lot of prominence. But when you say digital marketing, it's just a word only. But you really want to understand the profile of the shopper is very key. Like even you, okay, although like we are a Facebook generation, if you know when a specific time people research, because online shoppers actually, they don't just buy, they research. So you understand when exactly the research, then only you can load up the info. And when they actually buy, if you understand the trending of when they buy, then you can blast out or stream the trends, the promo. Then you have a better conversion rate, you have a better transaction, higher transaction values. So it's also very key also, if you understand it well enough. So because these learnings, because we gather data from all our merchants, just to let you know.
So Kenneth has a very good point, because people's attention span is only very short. If I look at the phone now, and the offer pops out, if something distracts me, what's the chance of me getting back to that again? Probably very low, right? So the timing is very, very, very key.
So we all iPay try to provide very seamless payment, so they become impulse buying better. So just to let you know, we are quite seamless in our payment. iPay idiot.
Must talk to your boss. Okay, Clement.
Okay, so basically about trend, I shared a bit on my checklist just now. So personally for me, myself, I'm major in marketing perspective. So my key takeaway, aside from going mobile, Ecommerce, there will be 3. So the first one I would like to say is automation. So upcoming trends, I think you probably need to have some automation, whether it is a chatbot. For myself, I implemented chatbot, and the pickup rate is not so well in Malaysia comparing to in the States. But I can see that there are more and more Asian companies, not only Malaysians, but Asian companies are already start adapting into chatbots, especially Facebook chatbot, to help them to automate their operations, to eliminate the customer support inquiries and stuff. So that is one of the trends. When I talk about automation, it also goes down to your operation automations. So a little bit about EasyParcel. So basically, if you are going to write 200 parcel airway bills, basically it is taking up a lot of time. So you need things like EasyParcels to do automations, like you can print airway bills, bulk upload, and all those stuff. So that's automations, key takeaway number one. Number two, I'll talk about, I'll say it is data. So when we talk about data, a lot of e-commerce, they don't know much about their website. What is the data? Whether it is female or male. Even if it is male, what is their age or age gap, right? Or even from which state majority of your things is selling. Which type of things sell best in Johor? Which type of your products or categories sell best in Penang? So these are all the data that I think should start look into it for upcoming years. So whether you know how to use the data or not, it is not as important right now, but you need to have the data. Third, I would say is in terms of a bit technical wise, but in terms like marketing. So for marketing, as we know, I believe majority of us, we advertise on Facebook. When we talk about marketing, we know Facebook ads. Then second probably is Google AdWords. So when we talk about ads, it is getting more and more expensive. So the competition is so much that Facebook cannot tahan anymore. Then they create a lot of ad spaces like in your Messenger, audience network, all those stuffs. So for me, that is the reason why in my slides just now I said install the pixel. That is very important. Why? Because if you're going to target a general audience and compete with other people, basically your ad cost will be extremely high. So if you have the pixel installed in your website, you can create not only targeting visitors or remarket to them, but you can create lookalike audience. So when you create lookalike audience, you create lookalike audience from people who added to cart, lookalike audience of people who purchased your products. Then Facebook will give you another pool of like 200 to 500 audience that you can actually target, and you don't really have to compete in a general interest with other companies. So for my side, upcoming this years, these are the three things that you should actually focus on. Yeah.
Thanks, very good point about data. Yeah, so just one caution when you want to collect data. Well, one of the key disruption that we see is that the traditional companies do not have a way to collect data. So we need a digital company who have a way of collecting data. So when you want to collect data, just have a balance. If you are to ask the user to fill in a long form to complete data, you can forget about it. Yeah? So be smart in collecting data. Maybe slowly make it easy for them to collect and to give you data, essentially.
Yeah, maybe I can add on to that. Try to avoid like asking for too much data. So when I'm talking about data, basically there are a lot of tools or softwares or providers, service providers out there that once you do the integration stuff, they can easily read from your database. You don't really need to ask your customers because some of the data probably your customers don't even know. So there are a lot of all these providers that can actually do that right now. So to name a few, like Metrilo is one of it. Another one is Metorik, M-E-T-O-R-I-K. So there are all those providers that can help you to crunch your data to let you know things that you don't even know. Yeah, so utilize on them. Don't ask your developer, spend few thousand ringgits to ask the developer to crunch data, to process. The tools is all out there, and it's as low as like 16 USD a month. Yeah, so yep, utilize that.
Okay, TK.
All right, thanks. Quick survey, right? Anybody heard of BoostOrder before? I think no, right? It's perfectly normal because we are really, okay, a bit of commercial.
This is what we call making money quietly.
No. Thank you. So we are really the company that provides softwares behind the trade, right? When it comes to people talk about online, everybody think about direct to consumer, direct to consumers. But if you actually look at the Malaysia economy, actually the half of it is actually B2B trade. So what we are is we are in the business of supplying SaaS, software as a service, to digitalize the B2B software, the B2B trade part, right? So what I mean by that, so it will be things like distributors to retailers, brand to distributors. That's the sector that we are in. So talk about trend, right? So I'm going to come from
Maybe you can tell us some of the distributors so at least they know, they can identify.
Oh, sure.
Give
Example of
you
clients.
chance to promote yourself.
Okay, sure. Example of clients are like Heineken distributors, Samsung distributors, or because how this brand operate is that they have territorial distributors, like KL, there's a major, Northern, there's a major, that will deal with all these retailers. And the fact is that in trade, 80% to 90% of the sales is still done through a traditional trades. So online is growing very fast, year on year, 100%, but it's probably constitute 5% maximum of a brand total trade, right? So what we are doing is that we are in the business of digitalizing this part, bringing efficiencies and help them to actually expand their markets in that essence. So I'm going to come in with a little bit of different perspective because we talk to SME, and these SMEs are really those that is actually already operating and established businesses, right? They are probably trading like 10, 20, 50 million on a monthly basis. Their problem is totally different, right? So we are in a business of really helping them to do that. So the trend that we are looking at is, number one, we call this Jack Ma factor, right? Because all of these guys, they are a traditional businessmen. They understand what Jack Ma says, and they want to emulate what Jack Ma is doing. So what they try to do is that they want to bring their existing, very traditional, offline-based, conventional way of doing a distribution business online, right? Transacting that as in a consumer-centric like experience. And that's where we come in, we help them, right? We give a retailer an app that they can just browse and then just order, stuff like that. So number one, Jack Ma factor, right? So they want to digitalize that section. The second part is that all of these SME, everybody talk about going online today. So they are thinking of investing online. So they have actually tried to build online stores, and most of them actually are not achieving a huge amount of successes because of the lack of expertise and capabilities. So when I say capabilities, I mean to say things like knowledge, know-how. Because going online is not as simple as whack up websites and then pray or hope that you're going to have a lot of sales, right? That's not going to happen, right? Like Kenneth correctly pointed out, the biggest problem of going online is actually user acquisitions, right? So a lot of them, and we typically tell them that if you actually want to go online, just go to all these established marketplace. Don't over-invest in building your own websites to begin with. Once you actually build up your brand in these marketplaces, then only consider spin off your own websites, right? So, and all these guys, you'll be surprised how much money they pour in, right? So they've been trying to actually go online, but it's all these problems, right? The other type of businesses that we talk to are brands, and brands will be those that actually sell through their traditional channels, or brands that operate their own chains. So again, everybody want to go online, right? So they either set up their online stores, etc., etc. Now, the problems that they are having is, so everybody want to go online. So then you're going to come with the problems of channel conflicts, right? Because you try to sell online, and then what happened to your traditional, all these people that has been selling your products for the past 20 years and committing to your 80% of your sales data, right? So what are you going to do with that, right? So they are handling all these problems. The other problem that they are having is really things like, how do I synchronize my online businesses versus my offline retail chains, right? Because for me personally, I have gone to online before. I went lelong.com.my, I was searching for some digital gadgets from a renowned chain, I won't name it, right? So the price is actually different. So what I do is I walk to the offline stores and show them, hey, can I buy this at this price point? Sorry, no, this is my online pricing, this is my online pricing. So, these are all the trends that people are trying to harmonize all these things. They are trying to go online, but it's challenging, right? So that's actually what we are seeing. So we are coming from a little bit of a different perspective, right? From a brand, from a manufacturer, from a distributor standpoint, and that's actually what we are seeing now. But going online is definitely the trend. Everybody want to go online, right?
Okay, I'm going to open the floor to questions in a while. But two quick comments is one comment and one question. One comment is that direct kind of business, TK kind of business is very interesting because this is what I would call, you go into an area whereby normally people don't go into one, all right? That means it's another smart way of doing a business, right? So don't necessarily go into a crowded business. This is what we call the Red Sea or the bloodbath, right? Go into, okay, the popular term is called blue ocean. That means people really want to touch one. Let me give you an example. How many of you heard of a programming language called COBOL? Okay, you're probably same age as me. Okay, COBOL, I just here tell example. It's to share with you this idea that you do not necessarily always go with the popular flow, right? So COBOL is an archaic, powerful business language. It's created in the 60s or 70s, I can't remember. But today it's still very much used by the banks. And banks, generally, dare not change it because it's very risky. If you change it, imagine if your Maybank to you or Maybank to you system go down in for 1 hour. I tell you, Bank Negara will kill them, man. Or you will kill Maybank. So the banks dare not touch the system. So there's still a lot of need and requirements for COBOL. And we have one company in Malaysia that specializes in this. 300 people just on COBOL. Can you imagine? And the owner is making a lot of money. So sometimes it's worth your while to look for business like this. That means you know, wow, this one, I think nobody wants to touch on. Maybe I should go into it. I'm not sure about e-commerce, so it's worthwhile thinking about it, okay? Park the thought in your mind. Okay, now back to the panel here. Before I open the floor for questions, what is your view on offline and online? There's a trend that some online retailers are going to offline as well. Maybe just get your view. Start with
So our view is that this is a trend that is going to happen, like it or not, right? Online is here. It is growing very fast. It will be here to stay. The challenge
do you see, for example, the shopping mall will thrive?
So a lot of people say that retail is dying, right? So I would say that transactional retail is dying. So really there are two types of retailing, transactional retailing or experiential retailing. Transactional retailing means that the thing that you walk in, you grab it, you go out, right? Those, it may or may not dying, but the growth will be probably limited, right? Because it can be very easily replaced by online. On the other axis, you can see a lot of retailers start trying to innovate and try to differentiate themselves. And the only way this can survive is really through making things experiential, right? So now you go there, not because you just want to transact, right? Because there's actually a very interesting study done by McKinsey. So they look at how consumers actually behave, right? There are really 4 phases, right? First, you start by discovery. Oh, I want to buy something. The next thing, what you do is you go online to research. Third, you will try to go to the store, play around with the thing, right? So that's where the experiential retail comes, right? Because people want to touch it. Whatever you buy phone, you buy clothes, right? That's why you see the success story of O2O models. That's the part. And after you purchase that experience, you bond. The loyalty is built, and then this cycle, recycle again. So the role of online to offline businesses is really, getting yourself being discovered, right? Getting yourself, providing information and guide your consumer throughout this journey. Because you cannot actually fight the trend. People are behaving that way, right? So if you're offline, it will be experiential. It will be more like for you to try things out, right? That's actually our view.
So for my opinion, definitely same goes with the rest. So for O2O, like offline to online, offline to online, or online to offline, it is definitely happening. For example, I've seen Zalora, they have a physical retail, I'll call it an experience store, where you can go in, try out your clothes and stuff, and then you place order through their IMAX. They have 3 IMAX there, but they don't give you the clothes immediately. They ship it to you. So they actually have it for a period of time, like 6 months back in Penang, Gurney. So that is, I think, a way to do that. But when we are talking about O2O, it is not only in terms of like products, it's also in terms of like how to utilize this O2O thing in terms of your operations. So take it for example, China. If you go to China, you can see that the payment is so seamless with their WeChat Pay that, or even when you go into a store, you can easily have a QR code in that products that you can actually scan it, then you can see the videos about it, reviews about it, how others are talking about these products, how many social proofs they have for these products, and so on and so forth, before you even pay. So even when you pay, you don't need physical cash. I want this, scan, that's it. So this is how you can actually relate online to your offline retail as well. So yeah, basically that's it for my part.
Anybody else want to comment?
Oh, yeah.
So to talk also about online to offline models, what we are saying, if you actually look at how the models being evolved in overseas, right? The retail not only now provide an experiential part, it actually become a warehouse, right? So you go there, probably you just look at the products, experience it, and say that you want to buy it. Then it will get shipped from a very nearby warehouse, right? That probably is going to be the model of the future, right?
I'm just going to comment on our own experience building WOBB, because we are a very digital business. So our mission is actually to be a job platform that's one of the most loved ones in Asia. We emphasize that a lot. So when I say love, that means we want our user, our job seeker, when they come to the platform, they look at it and like, wow, like I really want to use this platform to look for a job. Now, when we first started the company, we did a lot of things that were offline. Right? So for example, we would arrange company tours. So if you wanted to, say, visit Google or visit DG, you apply, you come on, join us, we take you on a bus, we take you there, right? And you actually go there and walk to all. So these employees also advertise with us, but we actually physically take you there. So even though it didn't make a lot of money, one thing that we learned from it was, I think the word experience is the right one, is that you engage with your users in such a different way, you know. Like the way they relate to your brand experience. They may not apply to DG, let's say, or Google there and then during the tour, but then when they come back, they download our app or they go to our platform and then they apply, right? Or so when we organize our own career fairs, for example, we are a digital platform, but why do we have career fairs? Because sometimes the job seeker and employer just wants to meet. So we do like a small coffee session. It's not the booth style. We actually do like speed dating. You actually sit in front of the employee in a cafe. Sometimes we even serve beer. Like it's like really chill, and you're sitting there and like, wow, this is so different. Like you're experiencing the brand in such a different way. But we don't make money from it, right? In the end,
so what was the driver to spend money and effort to organize those tours? Is it marketing, branding, or experience, or
yes, it is.
What was the main driver?
It is largely the experience of the brand, right? Marketing experience. Right? So when people think of us, they think about something very different. They don't think of, oh, this is a transactional job portal. You know, like I don't name the other one, but you know, something like that.
Yeah. Derek, next round the beer. Call me, please. Thank you. Okay, what I feel that this O2O, right, like be it offline, online, whatever, well, I will call it more to omni-channel because nowadays it's multiple channels. I would more or less, I think the keyword is complementary. It can complement each other. It's quite key. Okay, example sake, I put actual example. Moving forward, there are a lot of restaurants coming about that, you see, restaurant, how does it relate to online? Okay, trends will be moving towards the hand that there will be an app that you can pre-order beforehand. Pre-order beforehand, specific what you want and all. So when you reach there, your food is there. So you know nowadays time is money. Everybody's also packed up and all. So that's another one of the options you can have. So what I'm trying to say is also we are looking at, you look at how we are evolving in terms of our lifestyle, hectic lifestyle, and how, whichever way, be it online, offline, how it can complement our lifestyle, that's key. And then these two portions can complement each other. One, sometimes is for credibility, but on the other hand, sometimes also for other matters also. Example sake, if you're talking about, if you are offline, you are restricted by your geographical area. So that's why you want to go online, to actually expand your reach. Whereas the other way around, if you are online, you want to get credibility. Very simple as that. Another interesting trend you notice is, not sure whether you have seen before on YouTube and all, there's something called bingo box. Okay? So, and there are a lot of variations of this coming about. What is bingo box? Bingo box is actually a store that is humanless. There's nobody manning it. Okay, why you want to do that? Because it's looking for efficiency. Do you need a person manning a convenience store actually just to collect money, and then you can't open 24 hours? If you open 24 hours, you worry about theft, robbery, all this kind of stuff, you know? So if you have a store there, just house it. Some more, if you have the right offline payment, QR code, and all this kind of stuff, you can just go in there, purchase your products, and you can operate 24/7 efficiency, and you can collect data on top of it. So I'm trying to say all these things will be complementing each other, and we'll be driving efficiency. Those who does not need manpower, you may digitize it to make it more efficient. Then you utilize those manpower for those who need the human touch. Example, say cafe, no matter how, you cannot run away, you still need the human touch. That's where I come from. Thanks.
Okay. Now I open the floor for questions. Anybody want to ask question?
Hi guys. I'll make my question quite simple. How do I succeed in, they say the trend is in Instagram and all this stuff, right? How do I succeed in social selling or whatever you call it, but when personally I hate social networking? How do I get over that? On top of just opening an Instagram account and dumping all my products there, right? All my stuff there. Are you expecting me to like take picture with my product or do some, how do I get over that? When personally I don't really like social networking. Do you understand my question?
Yeah.
So how do I?
So maybe the question is, how can I reach the social media audience without myself being a social animal?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I don't know whether anybody got this problem, but I do.
I think social media is not just about you showing that you're having fun and that kind of stuff. There are a lot of ways of positioning it. Some examples say it can be nowadays the way is the way social media is spending and how you reach to people. It differs in a lot of ways. Even if you're doing a video, an interesting video, okay, without you inside, without you, carrying a bag or whatever, it also can interest people. You also need to look at statistics. Also, different, in Facebook itself, there's a ranking, like for instance, a picture. How many people tend to view it as compared to a video, as compared to others. So maybe from the analytics itself, you can cater to your target market also.
So there are ways around it. Up there, please. Up there. Middle there. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Finn. I'd like to, I have questions for BoostOrder. Is it David? Yeah. So you mentioned a few good points about the transaction based and the experiential based, and although it's kind of complementary. So I have questions. So before we even close the sales, marketing is very important. And since you're doing B2B, and you are creating the software to any business, right?
Yes.
Okay. So my question is, so there are too many company doing software nowadays. How is your company BoostOrder? Because this is my first time heard about this. So what makes you special from the rest? And how do you convince us to get a software from you to do to run our business, to market, to brand our product? And since we have limited budget, most of us young people, and how? So what is your idea? And I'd like to learn more about your software, about the selling point of your software, and and that will make the most ROI for everyone like us who want to do a business.
Thanks for the questions. I think it's really about the value that when we come to selling software, whatever it is, it's really always about the value that you bring to the target customers, right? So we do have our own differentiators. We are not saying that we are the best, but we do have our own differentiators that create the values that our target customers are looking for. Our primary customers are really businesses with existing trade volumes, right? Distributors, manufacturers, or brands, right? That's where we come in. To your second questions, like what software to invest in to actually grow a business, I think that is a question that you have to first understand who are your target customers and how do you intend to reach them, right? So there's just a lot of solution today to the point where we see that sometimes it is confusing, right? To a lot of non-technical people, it is actually very confusing, right? A, B, C, and D, right? They just appear to be the same. And when you try to explain about the details, they don't get it, right? So I think at the end of the day, it's really about you as whether you are starting your own business or you already run your existing business, you know your business the most. You know who you want to sell to, you know your products, you have to do your own research, and the vendor is actually here to assist you. Understand your target markets, then only decide what to invest in. A lot of people actually do it the other way around. They go and find softwares, try to plug their stuff inside, right? So you should do it the other way. That would be my question, my answer.
Any other question? Yeah.
Yeah, e-wallet, I think most of us can agree is the future, definitely. But what is with Malaysia and how come we're so slow at adopting it? It seems like it's all in a rush at the same time. Suddenly now you're seeing it in the market. What happened until now that it's coming in and not just a few years before?
You're saying why is the e-wallet adoption so slow, is it?
Yes, yes. Is it just Bank Negara? I've always assumed it's Bank Negara.
I can answer, but let the expert answer.
Of course I can't say Bank Negara. No, but anyway, it's never the Bank Negara. I think it's always about timing. Of course, definitely you want to say about it is the evolution itself. If you notice earlier statistics shown also, you know, over time, a lot of people are adopting more towards mobile phones. And mobile phones is quite key actually to do the e-wallets and those kind of stuff. If you know recently, the past 3 years, I don't think we have, I think the sheer amount of people who are embracing mobile phones, I'm not just talking about the people that you fraternize with, I'm talking about the overall general population have very grown tremendously. So that's one part. So the other portion also, other than timing also, why it takes so long, even for now, it is also is taking some traction to get people to get to adopt QR code, e-wallet payments and all. That's why hence you can notice that a lot of these e-wallet players, they're actually throwing a lot of marketing funds. And these marketing funds is incentive, it's crazy. And why they're doing that is for people to get used to using it. It's always been there. You need to get people, make it part of the way of life. Example, I think Google did mention before, if you want, their ambition is to let everybody around the world touch Google twice a day. If it becomes significant, if the e-wallet, which is in your app, which is in your mobile phone, you bother to open it once a day or daily, then it becomes significant. Then people only start transacting, frequently. You do need to get that part there. So it's a way of life. So getting people to use it is one thing. So now I think that we are starting on that portion there, the path. And it's beyond just e-wallet. When you're talking about it, I'm looking at beyond just not about e-wallet, talking about QR Pay, that you see the banks are coming into end. So again, it's about all these alternative payment replacing cash.
So you're saying that all this time it wasn't the institutions, Bank Negara with their regulations, but it's really just behavior in Malaysia?
I think the financial institutions have been, like the Bank Negara, have been very supportive. They're trying to push people to adopt e-wallet. But then again, it's about timing. Just to let you know, there are multiple licenses. Actually, you can go to actually the website, Bank Negara website, there's listing all the e-wallet players. And then you notice that there are a lot of them who have the license, but maybe they tried but didn't really take off. That means they have.
So it's probably a combination of
timing
and culture as well. So let me just One very funny, sorry, let me just quickly ask you, how many of you have smart touch and go cards? Good. How many of you have smart tag? Good. You notice or not, maybe 1 year ago, hopefully not now, people driving nice cars, but yet they go into the touch and go lane and not the smart tag lane. Why? Somehow there's this culture. A lot of people cannot put themselves to put in 50 ringgit, 100 ringgit, as a wallet. That to me is a wallet, correct? So it's partly culture and behavior. Sorry?
No battery.
And I don't know whether true or not. Somebody said, just to, so you must watch all this and think, hey, why like that? The fellow drives a very nice car, no? But willing to wait there and queue up and pay at the, not at the smart tank, pay at the, no, pay cash. 1 year ago, they pay cash. I was shocked. They drive a nice car. They're willing to wait at the queue and pay cash. I hope you're not one of them. So that means they're either, I don't know what they call it, living beyond their means, or they're not willing to put the money in a wallet. So it's a very, and the other thing I saw, I heard is that there's a big group of in the population who do not have a lot of cash, do not have excess money to spend. So that may be a reality, I'm not sure. I heard about that. So that could be a culture. So for example, in the US today, a lot of people are still using text message. Would you believe it? Texting, US. So again, why? They're an advanced country. Why can't they be using Messenger or WhatsApp or whatever else? So it's partly culture.
Just to add on, actually very interesting thing is we always think that we are behind, but actually a lot of countries like say US and a lot of Western countries like UK, their adoption rate is actually slower than us. Asians have actually embraced technology much faster than other nations actually.
Yeah, the other thing also, somebody said that the fact that many of us also carry credit cards doesn't help as well. Credit card in a way is cashless, so I don't need to have an e-wallet, right? Make sense?
Another example, so you see, we also think about it earlier before this, just look back at Maybank to you, online banking. You also took some time to adopt, you see. So prior to this, I think everybody's going to the ATM all night. Nobody now goes to the ATM, right, at all. Not much. I mean, nobody really go to the counter itself. Nobody transact. Things changes, I pay bill, everything is online, So things are evolving, but it takes some time. Maybe because it's not, maybe sometimes it becomes such a habit, you're too used to it, and it's not, it's not so painful enough to change, but when it becomes too painful, then you need to start changing.
Any other comments about e-wallet? Okay, if not, next question, please. Yes, gentleman over there. Or anybody nearer here? Otherwise, yeah. Maybe after this, 1 or 2 more last questions because you're running short. We are another 5 minutes away.
Thank you for the speaker. I think very good info and very professional. And I just want to ask, because most of the speakers, they agree that the marketing, the digital marketing is actually migrate from Facebook to Instagram. Just want to know from your view of perspective, what's the difference between the Instagram and Facebook? Is that a big difference in terms of copywriting, or the more focus on graphic, or this nowadays even the video, right? 1 hour, they allow one hour's video. Thank you.
Why would you want to post 1 hour video? Don't do that, please. It's a very quick comment, please. Nowadays, keep it short, precise, and succinct. All right, I tell my staff, which is very, I have to comment on this. When you write an email, please, the email mustn't be more than 1 page. More than 1 page, they lose interest already. Right now, if you receive 50, 100 email one day, right, and the email is more than 1 page, what would you do? I read later. After that, become 3 days, become 1 week, it becomes another 2 months before you read it. Okay. Other comments, please. No, okay, so he asked a very valid question.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Instagram and video in terms of the look and feel, the copywriting, you know? I think that there's a difference. The graphics. Yeah.
Maybe this, I'm not really expert in it, but observation, just observation. I noticed, you know there's a phrase called Instagrammable. Instagrammable is when you take a photo that's so good that you need to Instagram it. So I believe that the quality of photos, when you take it in a very, very different way, is more Instagrammable. So I think Instagram differs from Facebook, as in Facebook, like my own personal Facebook, it become like a photo book like that. I go and just blast. I have like, say, 100 photos from holidays, right? I just put it all in. But you know that Instagram, you can't do that, right? The max, you only have 10, right? So you select your best possible photos. So it's also reflective of how you sell. At the time, you just put your best possible photo for one photo that attracts everybody collectively. It's just like a video and all. And it's always small catchment because it's supposed to catch the audience. Whereas Facebook is more of a collection of like, you know, everything. You can, for all you know, it can be your SKU, or your listing of all your SKUs. I think that's the difference between these two.
I'll just make a very small comment, just small clarification. So when I said that Instagram is doing better than Facebook, it really depends on who your target market is. That I have to be very clear, because in WOBB, our users are like young, 20 to 26-year-old, that's our group. So Instagram works a lot better for us now, because that's our group. But if you're talking about how we market to companies or employers to advertise jobs, we are very active on LinkedIn, very, very active. So if you go on our WOBB's LinkedIn page, or if you just connect to random people on LinkedIn, you will see WOBB content come out every now and then. But the WOBB content, right, is very targeted to the employer. So we speak directly to the audience. So if I'm putting something on LinkedIn, I'm speaking directly to an employer. If I'm putting something on Instagram, I'm speaking directly to the talent or the job seeker. So that part I want to clarify. So there are a lot of tips, obviously, you can find how to post on Instagram. But the main thing I will say, though, in terms of creating content that can go viral, for example, like people will share, it seems to be easier on Facebook, largely because maybe it's a bit more mass, and how the platform is built where you can actually click share, whereas this does not exist on Instagram. So Instagram, I think, is largely a way where you post content, people like it, and then other people find you from what their friends are liking. So that process might take a little bit long, a bit more brand building. But to take action or to share content, it works better on Facebook, just based on how the platform is built. So simple example, if I'm advertising a job and I push the job out on Facebook, if you like the job, you can click the link and you're directed to the website. On Instagram, right, there are no links on, you know. You can't click any link. So you just see a photo, you can say, I'm looking for this job. And then to find the link, you have to click on the profile. So it works very differently in terms of engaging people. Yeah, but I will go back and start with who is your actual target user. Yeah.
You know, there are a few generations. You maybe need to go and Google like Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z. Now latest one is Gen Alpha. Alpha is the babies now. So based on that, there's also actually a table, if you can go online, that states what in particular each one of them will go to. Like for instance, the social media other than Facebook they go to. Example, Gen X, which is my generation, is go on LinkedIn. So the next generation, I think, go for Tinder. So it depends.
Okay, for my side, basically, it is quite true. I'm talking in this perspective of my own experience. So Facebook, usually, when we sign up Facebook last time, it is a social media. But to me right now, Facebook, I actually don't play Facebook that much anymore, because it is more like a commercial place where you go in, you see your feeds full of ads. So eventually, Instagram, people start to change to Instagram probably because they want to have that touch, the connection, the social media kind of feel. It's not like I'm jumping through the pool of advertisements. So that is also partly why for my own business, my target group is around 24 to 44. So in this target group of generations, eventually my Instagram, I'm not spending any ads on that, but things that I post in Instagram, for example, this particular new color or model of phone case, if I post it on Instagram, you can see a sales spike of that particular products in the 3 days upcoming. So for me, I think that Instagram is a place where if you want to post, it should be very picture driven. you have to invest in picture. So when I talk about invest, not like, buy DSLR and shoot. I'm still shooting with my iPhone 10. Just basically, any iPhone, even iPhone 6, you can do it. Just invest on props. Go Mr. DIY or go those stationery stores, buy some color papers at the back, some sand, some grass, pick up some grass. Then just design it like flat lay style, means that from top to bottom, because this kind of image, it works pretty well in Instagram. Yeah.
Okay, we're out of time. I need to wrap up. Just very quickly, a few key takeaways is, although we talk about trends and all that, I would suggest that when you look at all the new trends, just remember your fundamental of the business still remains the same, right? So I think we spoke quite a bit about trends, but also they spoke a lot about the fundamental trends of the business. So things like knowing your clients, how to target them, and so things those are very fundamentals. And also the other one is that when they alluded to it is that when you want to try something new, make sure you speak to as many people as possible for their experience. So for example, if he's done big data or if he's done payment, ask him or ask whoever lah. So you get that experience and you take it back and then decide for yourself how you want to test that new technology, new trend into your business. So don't just do it for the sake of doing it, and do small bits pilot. Don't spend a lot of money because unless you got a lot of money lah. Okay. So with that, I want to thank Exabytes for hosting this. Of course, attend this conference more often to listen to experts like this. Then you get more ideas. Okay, so thanks to the panel as well. Thank you.